Welcome to LugCon. We're going to talk about digital campaigning. So this is going to be section 3 and 4 of the digital campaigning series because I couldn't really see stretching them to 40 minutes. So I think they're going to cover probably about 10 minutes combined. So 3 and 4 are socializing and gaming and collaboration tools. And so the whole digital campaigning really covers 5 stages. There's the digital publishers, the character trackers and generators, the socializing, the gaming and collaboration tools, and recording games through blogs. So this one being 3 and 4, I don't know. It's actually the one that I enjoy a lot too. So socializing online, I didn't know a good way of putting it because there's like social media, but that's not just it. We're gamers. We really need a way to connect. We need a way to have fun with each other and stuff. And so different websites have tried to do it, but nobody's figured out exactly what we need. There's no Google in terms of socializing for games, even though Google's starting to become one of the better places to organize. But scratch that idea. Even Google doesn't have it down right. They just threw down a big net and happened to catch a lot of gamers. But really, the ones that have started to hit on strategies that work, the one that's going to come up a lot is called Inferno.net, and it's Inferno without the E. So INFRNO.net. Great website, and they transcend all this. They're closed or walled garden, so everything you do just stays there. It doesn't have a lot of reach because people have to be members and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, Facebook and Google have the permissions down a lot better and stuff. So, but either way, they do a really good job with covering a lot of different functions in one website, which is awesome, and really cater to the gamer. But before we get there, the point of section 3, the point of socializing is you have to find new people to game with. Gaming is not something that happens on an island. It's not something that happens alone. It could happen on an island, but it wouldn't happen with one person. You really have to have a lot of people to game, or at least enough people to fill out your game. You have to have a game master and then somebody else to sit there and interact with the game master. And so socializing is a big part of it. Once you have the system, you have to have the players, or vice versa, or not vice versa. Once you have the system, you have to have the game master to run the players. And so one website that I like is Pen and Paper Games. I think they do a really good job with connecting people, having forums. Of course, there's Board Game Geek and all that kind of stuff, but these are ones that really deal with kind of gamers, like role-playing tabletop gamers. Lots of Google Plus communities are out there for whatever you're looking for. I like Dresden Files. There's a community for Dresden Files RPG, Savage Worlds, D&D, Pathfinder, yada yada. So you can find whatever you want probably in a Google's Plus community. There's also another website called nearbygames.com. So nearbygames.com. Again, these links will be up on lugcon.com later. So if you miss it here, you'll catch it later. But yeah, that's another one that I've heard of to really connect people. So you kind of say where you are, what you want to play, and then find people in the area. Some of these focus on connecting virtually and physically. A lot of them kind of focus on connecting physically, but see, you can transcend that. You can do whatever you want and make it work for you. So you don't have to just meet people physically. You could be like, oh, we play online too because the person can't drive half an hour. So another thing too with socializing is podcasts. Maybe listening to some podcasts, getting a better thumb on the community that you're gaming in, and maybe where they congregate. So if you're really into Pathfinder, you find some Pathfinder style podcasts, and they start to tell you about other forums and websites that you can check out that you might enjoy to help you socialize and find other people that play the game. Or you might even be able to play with the podcasters themselves. I mean, don't rule out asking somebody famous if they want a game. You never know what'll happen. They might say no, but they'll probably say yes. Then there's organizing your players. So another part of socializing isn't just the things like pen and paper games or nearbygames.com. It's actually organizing players, getting them together and actually playing. And that broaches into conventions. And that's why I really like this topic. Being the organizer of LugCon, if I can talk about conventions, yay, that's great. So G Plus communities help you organize your players like we talked about before. Inferno.net does some conventions, but they also help you organize your players because they help you organize and play your game. Really cool. There's another website called Warhorn, W-A-R Horn, Warhorn, um, and they're to help you schedule and do event type scheduling, but I think they work with gaming specific. And then there's Con Planner, which the idea of Con Planner, CONPLANNER planner, is to like help you do event scheduling for conventions. So you sign up your members. I don't think it takes payments. I don't think any of these deal with any type of payment card situation, but they do help you register people into events and schedule your events so people can see them in a common place. And LugCon doesn't do it that way. We just use Google as a back end and some other stuff. So, yeah, but organize players any way you can find people that are organizing to play the game is a good thing because you want to find your players. So 3 is find the players. Now 4 is going to be collaboration tools, and this is the meat of it, in my opinion. This is really where the game happens because you have to play the game. So you got your player, you got your book, you got your character, you got your players. Now you need to get together and actually roll the bones. It's time to get the experience. It's time to defeat the obstacles and, win all the successes and benefits that come with that. So the way to do that, the way to game online and collaborate is however it works for you. Technology can be crippling, so don't get stuck on one thing. Just use whatever works. So Roll20.net is really stable, works awesome. You can do it free, you can do it paid. It gets a map out there, it does a virtual tabletop. Okay, I guess I've jumped ahead a little bit too far. How do we game online? Besides just saying doing it any way you can. It's best to have some type of tool where all the participants on the computer can actually participate with the board like a map. So if you have maybe a dungeon crawl, we like to call it, some type of dungeon setting or some type of setting where it needs a map and the people are placed specifically, it's nice if they are tokens and they can move on a map. You get that type of setup in things like Roll20.net. Roll20.net has a map, it has character handouts, it has, oh my god, music, chat, dice rollers, programming, yada yada, the list goes on, and all that's for free. And then it just gets more intense as you pay. But the best part about Roll20.net is you can use it and do very little. You don't have to know a lot. You just get in and it's very intuitive and you just use what you need. But if you want to push it as far as playing cards, you could do that. And that's just crazy to me because it's awesome. Versatility is worth it. So we have a whole series on how we use Roll20. I'm going to go ahead and add that link to the lugcon.com website with this post. It's already been added before, but just so you can see a specific whole, like I think it's a half hour or an hour that we talk about Roll20 with one of the developers of Roll20, Nolan T. Jones. So that was a great podcast that we recorded in October, and yeah, really good stuff. So that'll also be here. Another collaboration tool, gaming tool you can use online is Inferno.net. Like I've said before, they're a walled garden. Everything that you do there is kept there socially, everything. But it's awesome. Like that's where I got started. Inferno.net did it. That was the first virtual tabletop that I ever used, and it worked so well for me, and I just never looked back. And I got into things that didn't really succeed until I settled on Roll20 myself. So Inferno.net, drop the E, infrno.net. Great system to use if you want to just like cultivate a game and there's already a community there to tap into all that stuff. Let's see. And then there's this one that you can use around the table. So I really like this idea. It's called Fantasy Grounds. It's a software. And the idea is to take the maintenance off of gaming at the table. So imagine your game master actually has like a computer screen facing everybody. So you got your Mylar map or whatever map down, so you can use your dry erase on it and everything. You got your miniatures down, all your 3D effects and opposition. But now your GM has actually put up his screen and turned it to you, and it shows every character's hit points, or it shows maybe every character's armor level, or whether they're bloodied, or what. And so that's kind of helpful because now all the players can just look up instead of saying, hey, has a cleric used his spells? Has such and such gone? Whose turn is it? It's all right there. We're on initiative 12. Just look at the screen. Let's keep moving. So the idea of Fantasy Grounds is to take care of a lot of the overhead at the table. And I thought it was a great idea. I don't use it, but I know a lot of people do, and they have a convention based around it that's community supported. So it's got a huge community. Definitely something worth checking out, and it's here on Google Plus. So Fantasy Grounds is a good virtual kind of software to use. Another place you want to go is RPG Virtual Tabletop.wiki.com. Darn, you're gonna have to look at that link because the wiki dot is actually the letters wiki dot, and the dot's just the dot, and oh man, it's bad. So um, I digress. Important link to find virtual tabletops, because not all of virtual tabletops are created the same. Roll20.net is a web browser based one, which is why I love it, because anybody can get into it who has the E on their computer. They don't even have to know what the internet is. They just have to know that they have an E on their computer and they can use it. So that's awesome. But then you have all kinds of other stuff that gets really complicated that lets you do a VPN and lets you keep things very secure, and person can only use this type of port and all that kind of stuff because you're worried about security or you have to do it at work or whatever's happening. But yeah, there's all kinds of options, and they keep a website of just every VTT is what I like to call them. So virtual tabletop that's out there. Another thing to think about when you're gaming, and you're gaming whether in person or not, is what device are you going to use. Like right now I'm using a computer with a webcam and a speaker and a headphone, or sorry, headset and a mic, because that works really well for the computer, but that might not work so well for the phone or the tablet. And so you got to really think about the device, the screen size. Are you going to be able to use it in the area you're at? So I can do a lot with my webcam, and so I like to do Roll20 in weird places sometimes because I'm on the move, I'm at a hotel, but sometimes you can't. So you really got to think about, like, oh man, I'm going to be in the lobby doing a game. That might not work, or on my phone doing a game, or you need Wi-Fi, or you need a landline. So really think about your device, screen size. If you're going to be doing it at a convention or something that has a lot of traffic on the cell towers, it's probably going to slow it down. So maybe you want to buy a better connection. With hotels, you can buy like dedicated connections and stuff like that. So think about your device, the recharge time on it. Can I play an entire game on my computer? It only lasts an hour. Might not be enough. All kinds of stuff to think about with devices, but I don't want to get into that too much. Just think about it yourself. The main one you're going to use with a lot of the virtual tabletops will just be a computer, a camera, and a headset. One of the other things is etiquette. There's a lot of notes. Don't chew, don't cough, don't make loud sounds. Mute yourself if you're going to talk to people in the background. Maybe message a lot of the side chatter in the chat instead of talking over the mic. Background noise is horrible. Make sure you have a good connection. Try not to just talk to your computer. Try and have a headset, because the background noise on top of a vocal speaker, those like panoramic speakers or whatever they use in those, can just be horrible. Like trying to do it at a coffee shop without a headset. Holy Jesus, please don't join my game. Uh, so there's stuff like that. There's also, so here's where you get your maps and your tokens. RPG Map Share. They have some great free material. They have some great commercial material. They have a ton of material. Oh my gosh. If you've never played a game, you need to just jumpstart and get a bunch of stuff, go there. Might take a while, so start like a week ahead. I'm just kidding. But they do have a lot of material. So it's RPG Map Share. Another thing is, as game masters or players or game designers or publishers or whoever, these videos can be used as teaching tools. I don't edit a lot of my videos, but really kind of take a pause and think, can this maybe help save me time in the future? Like a game designer, if I just do a section on character creation and really make sure to edit it, put some captions in and different animated examples that people can follow easily, or maybe even just a narration over people playing the game to really explain it once instead of twice or every time that I talk to people. So try and use the technology to your advantage. Save some time in the future. Other gaming options that people have used besides the virtual tabletops, which I espouse a virtual tabletops. Don't waste your time with other stuff. But if you want to, there's other options. And the other options would be things like Whiteboard. There's a website or application called Whiteboard that you could use. I've seen people make things in Google Presentation. I use Symphonical for one game, which is a Google Hangouts app that you could add in called Symphonical, Symphonical. Some people draw and write it up and put it on the web camera. So it's like, oh yeah, here's the map, bam, look at it. Oh yeah. That kind of thing happens. So you can get as low tech or as high tech as you want. As long as you're sitting around gaming, Google Hangouts should probably get you there and it shouldn't be a problem. Um, and then I think there's a next level of gaming that's going to integrate technology with you in person. And like, say you come to a gaming session at a convention and you get a text on your phone or an email to the email you use for registration that tells you here's your character, or here's what you should do next. So it would be nice if we could take gaming to the next level and not just say, oh, we're happy to not have paper anymore. It'd be nice to say, oh, now we've taken this game to another level because it's a bit more integrated. I don't know. Not total immersion, but how can we take gaming to the next level using these these electronics or anything like that? So that's that section. I'm glad I bundled them together. I probably could have recorded them separate, but hopefully you got a lot from it. So here's Trey from LugCon, and game on.